There are so many important demographic groups in elections. Yesterday, we talked about this town hall event that Donald Trump did with Latino voters on Univision. He also did an event, I guess you could call it a town hall, although he doesn't really answer questions, with women on Fox News. And we are experiencing right now one of the biggest gender gaps when it comes to women voters supporting Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. And there is a lot of interesting material to glean from this. Donald Trump in a room full of women being asked questions. Is it a script to a sitcom, a bad comedy show, or reality? Well, it was reality, and it did not go well. Donald Trump, in addressing the issue of IVF, in vitro fertilization, says that he is the father of IVF. What that means, I have no idea. And also can't help but mention that Republican Senator Katie Britt is physically attractive. Why he thinks that that's a good thing to say in a room full of women during a town hall, I don't know, but take a listen to this.
And IVF, you had mentioned before
right,
IVF.
Let's get this question because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
Yeah. Hi, President Trump.
Hi.
Welcome back to Georgia. We are so happy that you're here. We're all very blessed to be here with you, and thank you for taking our questions.
A blessing.
So I'm the mother of 3 small children, and I have many friends that have struggled with fertility issues over the years while trying to grow their families. And while they're pro-life, they're very concerned that the abortion bans will affect their ability to access IVF and other fertility treatments. So although abortion does lie with the states, what is your stance on that, and what would you say to those women?
So I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And she called me up like emergency, because an Alabama judge had ruled that the IVF clinics were illegal and they have to be closed down. A judge ruled. And she said, friends of mine came up to me and they were so angry. I didn't even know they were going, it's fertilization. I didn't know they were even involved in it. Nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it. But now that they can't do it, she said, I was attacked in a certain way. I was attacked. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no, we're totally in favor of IVF. I came out with a statement within an hour, a really powerful statement.
The real shocking takeaway here is that Donald Trump, while claiming that he's the father of IVF, seems to acknowledge that he didn't really know what it was until recently, when Katie Britt called him to talk to him about what's going on. The father of IVF didn't know what IVF was until months or I guess a year and a half ago or something like that. Now, Trump received an absolutely critical question from one of the women in the audience, which is, sometimes abortions are necessary to save lives. Why would a government entity be involved in that at all? And Trump's response is to brag about overturning Roe v. Wade.
So facing the question of abortion, women are entitled to do what they want to and need to do with their bodies, including their unborn. That's on them regardless of the circumstance. Some are necessary to save their own lives. Why is the government involved in women's basic rights?
Right, good. I think it's great, and I'm glad you asked it. For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. Every legal scholar, the great ones, every lawyer, but the Democrats, the Republicans, the liberals, the conservatives, they wanted it brought out of the federal government and brought back to the states for a vote of the people. And like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. I strongly believe. You have to follow your heart. Some people don't. It's a very small percentage, but you have to follow your heart. But you have the exceptions. But what we were able to do is, through really the courage of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do this after years and years of turmoil.
So Trump's answer to why would governments be involved at all is to say, well, you got some exceptions, but I got a Roe v. Wade overturned. It's an absolutely perfect critical question, and Trump doesn't even really come close to giving a real answer to this. Despite the fact that this was taped and edited, Trump still managed to squeeze in an incoherent rant about Elon Musk, and the host, Harris Faulkner, ends up cutting him off and cutting to a commercial.
Hell broke loose, and they got the Starlink. And by the way, it worked incredibly well. He did a great service. Elon did a great service. You know what I like about it? He endorsed me. He gave me the biggest, you know what he said, Harris? So, I mean, look, he's a respected guy. When you can see a guy take that rocket yesterday,
oh my goodness,
and have that sucker come back out of space, all burned up, and he's putting it right back where it's. I said, why do you do that? Because I don't want to build another one.
All right.
He's the only one.
We got to go. We'll be right back with more after this.
Hell broke.
She interrupts the unhinged rant about Elon Musk and rockets. And then she did do Harris Faulkner a teeny tiny, a little bit, as Trump would say, of fact checking when Trump claimed that the immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are there illegally. Harris Faulkner goes, by the way, they're there legally.
Yet, Springfield, Ohio, they have 50,000, 52,000 people. No problems, no real crime, no beautiful community. They just dropped 30,000 illegal aliens in Springfield, Ohio, and it's become a different place. We're going to destroy our country. Our country is going.
Actually,
it's horrible.
You know, there's more to that story. They are here legally, and there are programs that the.
I like how Trump says yes. He just said that they're there illegally. She goes, oh, actually, they're here legally. Trump goes, yeah.
Administration has put into place to do those flights. So we recently learned, we didn't have any number to compare it to, so all of a sudden we knew 1.5 million people had come in through those flights.
Yeah, it's funny how she is fact-checking it, but she's talking to Trump like he's a little kid who's about to have a tantrum, and you have to be really, really careful in how you talk to them. Trump offering some very interesting solutions to problems that may or may not exist. Harris Faulkner asking, how do you stop men from playing women's sports? And Trump goes, you ban it.
How do you stop it? Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just ban it. The president bans it. You just don't let it happen.
Harris, why can't you understand that when you're a dictator, they just let you do it? He should have taken this approach with COVID and just banned the virus. It would have been way, way better for everybody. Now, in reality, Harris Faulkner is asking sort of a good question, which is that local sports leagues aren't really bound to what the president says. It's just nonsense. And another example of this, she asks Trump, how do you bring down prices? He goes, you just bring them down, Harris. Jeez.
We're going to get the prices down. We can't just leave them up there because it's going to take too long for people to catch up. That's why I did the social
we have to like reset.
No,
I don't know how you reset to prices that are 4
You can
times
get the
what
prices
had.
down.
So let me ask you,
by the way, energy brings everything down.
How does it trickle down? Does it work that the energy is also cheaper for the companies and so that the distribution, how does the pricing actually happen? Because the interest rates have come down and inflation rate has come down, but it's like we are going uphill constantly with these prices.
But interest hasn't come down very much and you can't get the money. Look, it really happens if you make donuts. You have the stoves, you have the dish. Everything is evolved around energy.
There you go. The way you bring prices down is you make donuts, you have the stoves, you have the this, and everything has simply evolved. I wish governance were this easy. How do you get men out of women's sports? You ban them. How do you bring prices down? You just do it. You make donuts, you bring the prices down. That's it. Harris, why are you asking me these dumb questions? You just do it. When you're the president, it just happens. Not a particularly good intellectual show of understanding of political issues. Certainly interesting to see Trump in this scenario. There were actually some very good questions asked. We didn't really get any answers. Fall is here. Temperatures are dropping. It's time to start baking delicious homemade favorites. Our sponsor, Wild Grain, is here to warm up your house with sourdough breads, fresh pastas, artisanal pastries, including a wide array of seasonal offerings. They'll even have a small number of apple cider donuts, one of my favorites growing up in New England, so get them before they sell out. Wild Grain makes it easy by doing the hard work for you. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are customizable. Whatever your tastes and dietary restrictions are, they can do it. In addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box. It just takes the hassle out of baking because all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less. No mess, no cleanup. My favorite, I have to admit, is the croissants. They come in frozen. You bake from frozen. The quality and freshness is top notch. I'm a big croissant guy, and these were delicious. Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/Pacman to start your subscription. The link is in the description.